Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to have you once again in our channel. Today we have another special person. She is a traveler, she's an English teacher and she's doing a great job in her life. Let's welcome Anastasiia Mirazo. So welcome to our channel. Today we are so happy to have you and it's going to be a conversation between you and I'm going to have a few good and interesting questions. So could you please quickly introduce yourself? Who you are, what do you do, and what is the things that you're busy in your life so far?
So my name is Anastasia. I live in Samara and I study at Pedagogical University. It is my fourth year. Next year I'm graduating and I'm going to be an English teacher. I work as a tutor. I have students online and I really love traveling. In my free time, I prefer visiting different countries and explore, try new things.
Okay, so let's start off with teaching and English. How did you come up to be an English teacher? Like, what was the thing behind this thing? Like, why you're an English teacher? Why not another thing?
When I was growing, I didn't know where I should work, what should I do in my life. But then one day, me and my family decided that I should study English. And later, when I was around 17 years old, I went to Malta. There, I kept studying English. I practiced a lot. I had many friends with whom I would speak English, and I learned that there is a world besides my native Russian language, but also in English. And I was very interested in this. And I thought that this is something I could give to other people, that I could teach children and adults that there is a different type of living in English.
Mm-hmm. So it became like something you were inspired by seeing other people somehow the English language helped you and then you continued. Like you like to learn and teach English, right?
Yes, and I just thought that it's not only in Russian life could happen, but also in different languages. If we have more languages in our back, we can learn more about life.
Okay. So how many years have you been teaching?
I have been teaching for 4 years.
That's really good. What is the expectation of students from English teachers? Because in some countries there are courses or academic places where you go and teach, but right now you're teaching in a like you're a tutor. Somehow you teach one student at a time. So what is this, and how they expect you? What they expect you while you're teaching?
So there are many different students, and the first thing that almost everyone would expect from a private tutor is that you give them your time and you focus on their problems and you try to find ways that will be beneficial for each particular student. It's not like in a group where everyone has to follow the same rules or the same methods, but with private tutor, for example, when students want to talk about one thing more about computers or about job interview, you will try to find different ways to follow only this topic and try to explain only in ways that student wants. Maybe he's more excited to speak in English, so you'll try to find different activities and tasks on speaking.
Yes. Okay. What do you see the future of this major that you're going for? Like how you're going to see like in 5 years from now or 10 years from now, you're still teaching, you're still doing this thing, and how it's going to be different?
I think from one part of my life, I could say I would be still teaching, but I might also have an online school, which will be maybe my school, and I'm a director of this school, and I will have different teachers. I will get teachers for adults or for children, for preparing students for exams, maybe. The other thing I would like to do also, which relates to English, is translation. I am a translator too.
That's nice.
So I would like to translate probably people who are speaking in English or in Russian, and then I will translate. So we have two types of translators. The first one is a writing translator. For example, I could translate books or some papers. The other one is speaking translator. When we have different events and the person would like to be translated to the other language. So my priority would be a speaking one.
Okay, so you would like to translate while people are speaking, you would like to translate that.
I think it's more interesting and more important in these days.
So except English language, like you teach, what other language do you know or speak?
I speak Russian, it is my native language, and I used to study French in the past, but it wasn't really what I liked, so I focused more on English.
But can you say a few things in French? Like, do you remember anything from those time?
I can count in French.
Can you count from 1 to 5?
I can count even more.
Okay, but like, would like to hear the how it sounds.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, that was nice. Any other stuff? Like, hi or how are you?
Comment ça va?
Comment ça
The
va?
answer would be ça va bien.
Ça va bien.
Yeah.
Are you able to say like we are recording a video now?
No, I can't say. I can say mon ami. It means my friend.
Mon ami.
Mon ami. And also j'adore. I love.
J'adore.
J'adore English.
I love English.
Yes.
J'adore English. Okay. So French, Russian, English, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. But what is the difference between this French and Russian when you were learning both of the mother foreign language?
I think for me it was quite hard to study French because it all looked very unneeded in my mind. I didn't know where I could apply these skills. So when I started English, it felt more useful, and that's why I was excited to study this language. As for French, I think it was very difficult and also different from the Russian language because they had a lot of new grammar and different words, and for me as a kid it was very complicated.
Do you know any quote from these language that you will always remember from all times? Like a quote or sentence or beautiful sayings?
I
From
think
French or English, none of them?
from French, no, but from English.
Okay. What's from English? Something that you will always remember is like kind of positive, inspiration.
We should never stop. We should never stop doing something. We should never stop trying and exploring in our life.
We should never stop exploring and trying in our life.
Yes.
That's your own saying, right? Or
Yes, it's my own saying.
Okay, that's good. You also told me that you are a traveler.
Yeah.
Tell me what was the first time you traveled and how did you feel? Like, when was it? How was it? Tell me about it a little.
I can say that one of my first travels as a traveler alone, I mean, not with a family, but myself, and where I have more responsibilities and where I would be in control of everything, it would be Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
I went there when I was 14.
That's
there,
nice.
I really liked the nature and the people who live there. It felt very, very different from the country where I grew up. I felt that this is a place where I could live one day.
Mm-hmm.
It felt really cozy and beautiful and amazing to be there. And people are very nice. You know, you are walking on the street and someone could just say hi to you even though you don't know each other.
What language do you speak?
They speak Swiss German. It's a dialect of German language. However, they have 4 official languages in Switzerland.
4 official languages?
Yeah, it depends in which area of Switzerland you live. If you live in an area which is closer to Italy, it will be Italian language, or it will be French if you live close to France.
So do they have something their own, like Swiss language?
Yeah, they have a local dialect, which is Swiss language, but still they know, or people who live in those areas, they would know Swiss, they would know German, they would know Italian.
I see. So it's really like if you know one of these languages, you would be able to survive and talk with the people.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, so you said this was one of your first time you felt that. What was the second time? Like, how was the second time after this? Because this time you got some experience, and how did you apply for the next time of traveling?
The next time I went in a big travel, it was Malta. As I said, I studied English there, and for me it was also a very important experience because I learned to connect with more people, people from different countries. Although I tried
Malta?
doing it, yes, Malta. Although I tried doing this in Switzerland too, but it was less as I was younger. But in Malta it was wider.
Wider.
Yes, and I could speak with more people in English. My skills were better. And there I also lived with a local family, so they gave me some cultural little things that were interested to experience too. For example, the lady would cook us some local food and we trying it.
Do you remember any Maltese food?
Maltese
food, like do they have any name?
I don't remember a name, but I could try to describe it.
Describe one of these foods.
I can say it in a short way. So it was meat and a mix of different vegetables and potato, and the taste was really nice.
So it was cooked or it was?
It was steamed.
Ah, in a like kebab way.
I don't think so. Maybe just in a pot way.
Okay, interesting. So, as a traveler and as an English teacher, what other things do you do during the day? Like, what is your routine?
I usually wake up around 9 a.m. and I start working because I always have things to do. I try to do them faster, so the rest of my day would be more free and flexible for other things. After I work or after I study, because I studied university and I have to do things quickly, I have a break. In this break, I could go outside and see some places in my city. And then when it gets closer to the evening time, I have my students. I usually have from 2 to 5 students a day. And then when it's very dark outside, I stop working and I have 1 or 2 hours for myself where I can watch videos about different things. By the way, I always watch videos in English. I think it's
That's really good.
much better than doing it in my own language. It helps me
yeah.
to learn more at the same time have fun time.
Yeah. Okay, I have one thing I want to ask. Like, for some people, learning a language is really hard, or learning anything is hard. What do you say to them? What is your code? How were you able to learn while some other people are still complaining that they can't or it's hard? So what do you do differently?
Maybe from the very beginning, I knew that this language is going to be useful for me. And it gave me a boost to study it. It gave me energy and motivation to do that. And in the process of learning, I noticed that there are many words that are very common to my own language, or words that Russian language has taken, and we also use them. This was the other thing which also helped me to do not struggle so much, or to do not have stress while learning.
Yeah.
The other thing that I could mention is that while I was learning, I tried to speak, and I had this opportunity to use my language, the language I'm learning. I think it's very important that you feel that this language is alive and you are learning it not just in paper or in student books, but you can also live in this life.
Live and use daily in your life as well.
Yes, so this is something that you should also try doing when you are studying a language. You should speak this language.
What about the becoming an English teacher in a university? Do you have a plan, something like that too, or you're not anything?
It sounds very interesting, but as I see it now, I'm not going to be in any institutions like school or university. I feel that I would be better as a private tutor or studying somewhere teaching somewhere in a place where students are willing to study, because usually in schools some students are not
yeah, they're not interested sometimes.
Yeah, and I want to teach in a matter that it helps students, not brings them suffer.
How you will have a productive lesson like with the student?
I will have as much speaking as our lesson goes. Any task which is even writing or listening, I would apply speaking too.
Okay, going back to your traveling experiences, how many countries? I mean, like in terms of how many do you remember that you have traveled so far?
Maybe the amount could be around 7 or 8 countries. Some of them I have visited when I was young, and the other when I'm adult.
A teenager or adult.
Yes. And interestingly is that in last couple of years I haven't been abroad much. I mostly traveled around Russia, around my country.
In your country, which city do you recommend the most?
I think I
For people
recommend
outside.
St. Petersburg.
Mm-hmm.
I went there last year and it was a very different experience. I liked streets, I liked buildings. It all reminded of old times that I could have read in books or historical movies.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I hope people definitely come to the city and visit that. I have been also in St. Petersburg. It's one of the beautiful cities in Russia, and it resembles the past times, and it still kept the time from the beauty from the past times as well. So, do you do sports?
Currently, I am into running. I really like running, and my usual distance is 3 kilometers or 5 kilometers. I also participate in competitions that happen in my city, and I do my best to go to other cities and run there too.
Mm-hmm. So, your maximum was 5 kilometer?
Yes, or it could be in one day, 2 times 5 kilometers.
Mm-hmm. Why do you do running?
Because it gives me an opportunity to be in a community, be around people. If I do any single sport, it's not as exciting as to be in a common sport, which is popular in my city. And my city is very famous for different competitions that happen.
I see. So, do you have some big plans for running too? Like you have been doing this for some time. Do you have big plans for it? Like, do you want to go for the real marathon?
I think in a couple years from now, I will go for marathon.
Why?
Because you will feel as a champion even if you won the marathon or not. This is a very big distance and not everyone can accomplish it.
When you run, what do you have in your mind?
As I run, I usually listen to music. So my mind gets free from different thoughts and just relax and listens, and I look around. Usually I run in the park, so it's usually very good nature, trees, and I see other people running too, so I feel that we are all team and we can be strong for our country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice. I have also participated in running a few times, but I'm sure comparing to her, I have participated the least. But for me, running gives me like momentum. When I run, not often, I don't usually have music to listen, but if I have, I would listen to some strong motivational songs or speech, something that gives me energy. The last time I participated, one of the last time, like one of them I participated, I was doing the 5K and I was listening to. I was really tired too because I ran after some time, but I was among people, so I didn't want to discourage them. What I did was I had my phone and headphone and this thing. I put a song from Eminem, and it was some inspiration sort of thing. And I was like putting, yes, yes, I can go, go forward. I'm tired, but let's go, let's finish. So it really gives you some energy. And the other thing I like about running, if I do it in the morning, although I don't wake up so much early, but if I do it in the morning, and if I see greens and if I see more fresh weather, it gives me more feelings to run and to continue. And also, if you run in the morning, you feel that the rest of your day you can go through and it goes more smoothly as you have done something good in the morning. You started with a good point. Yeah. So it's really that's why I was in the very first of my life, like first days, I was interested in running on 100 meter, the fast running, and then after that I adopted the 5K, 3K, like this sort of runnings. Both of them are fun for my life. But still, the 100 meter is my favorite side type of running. For you have only 100 meter, and then you have to run as fast as you can. Probably in the future, I will keep practicing on this one too to be more good in running. So, if you say something to someone who would like to learn something, would like to get better in that, what do you say to them? I say that you should have a goal
in mind why you are doing that. You need to understand, for example, why you want to study a certain language or why you want to become a speaker as you are. I know you are a speaker. So you need to know why you are doing that in case that you feel tired or disappointed in something, there is something that goes wrong, you should remember your goal and it will help you to do not give up and don't stop doing it. That's why at the beginning I said don't stop trying and learning, because sometimes hard time come and you need to be strong enough to keep going and pursuing your goal.
Yeah, I totally agree. So people should not stop and they should keep going.
Yes, and it's also good when you are doing something for the first time or when you are more professional in it. It's good to do it with other people. For example, not run alone, but find a team that would also be interested in going to the marathon.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything that is you call it like a talent or a skill or something that you have and we don't know it or people don't know it?
Maybe I could call a talent of mine that I am quite flexible, because I have been doing gymnastics for around 11 years.
That's
I stopped when I entered university, but still I can do some skills, and it is something I'm proud of.
Okay, so thank you so much for your time. We are so happy to have you, and I hope you enjoy the time with us.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting. I was happy to be here and hope to see you again soon. I hope you can record better videos, more videos, and I hope people like watching you. Good luck in your job and your career.
Thank you so much. Have a nice time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.